Plowing through an ever-growing pile of incoming mail, I saw a handwritten note from Susan Schur, by then one of the city's top lawyers and one of my best friends, attached to a resume. It read, very impressive, bright, mature, interested in public service, does not want to practice law. Please meet with her. Quickly scanning the resume, it was obvious why Susan had sent it my way. A 26-year-old Chicago native, cum laude grad of Princeton, Harvard Law alum, and now second-year associate at the law firm of Sidley Austin. The name at the top was Michelle Robinson. I called Michelle in for an interview, and when she walked into my office, I was immediately struck not just by her appearance, tall, strikingly beautiful, simply dressed, with her hair pulled back and barely a hint of makeup, but also by her composed demeanor. She had a firm handshake, made direct eye contact, and exuded a confidence that I had rarely seen in anyone as young. All the other candidates I'd interviewed had tried to impress me by hard-selling their strengths. Michelle let her resume speak to her credentials and instead told me about her background growing up in a working-class neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. Her father, a blue-collar worker with the city's water department, prided himself on working hard even as he endured multiple sclerosis. As she described his involvement as a precinct captain in ward politics and his love for this city, it was clear the loss of her father a few months earlier was still fresh and painful. We compared stories about shared experiences, such as the drudgery of law firm life, the gift of being raised by happily married parents, and being instilled with a sense of responsibility to give back. Michelle talked less to impress than to simply inform. We also talked about the loss of young people we loved. Her best friend from college had died too young from cancer. My younger cousin, Jackie Cook, had been killed in 1981 by a drunk driver during the summer after her freshman year in college. About 30 minutes in to what was supposed to be a 20-minute interview, she got down to business. Innocuous questions that any job candidate might ask, such as the responsibilities of the position, turned into a rigorous and thoughtful grilling. How many staff are you going to have? What will the organizational chart be? What kind of projects will be assigned to me, and who will make those assignments? What will happen if I disagree with a decision of Mayor Daley? Her questions made me uncomfortable, not because they weren't perfectly legitimate, but because no one had ever asked them before. I was so used to people selling themselves to me that I was both startled and impressed by the ease with which Michelle turned the tables. What an unusual young person, I thought, to be able to realize that it was as important for her to want to work for me as it was for me to want her to show a maturity I certainly didn't possess at her age. After well over an hour had passed, with meetings stacking up, I was running late, and I am never late. I straight up offered her the job, which I had no authority to do. I hadn't talked to David Messina, the chief of staff, or the mayor. But I was so impressed with Michelle that I blurted out an offer on the spot. I could tell she was perfect for the job. She exuded competence, as well as character and integrity. It was also clear that her moral compass pointed only in one direction, true north. And I really liked her. Wisely, Michelle said she needed to think about it. A few days later, I called Michelle to check in and see if she was ready to accept my offer, which by then I had cleared with my bosses. She got right to the point. She talked it over with her fiancé, and he had some serious reservations. What? Thinking she and I had really clicked, I wasn't expecting that wild card. All the other applicants were clamoring for a job in the mayor's office. Who the hell is your fiancé? I blurted out. And why do we care what he thinks? With a disarming laugh, she said, his name is Barack Obama, and he thinks the mayor's office could be a dangerous place to work. We're a team and make all big life decisions together. Barack Obama. I'd heard of him. I didn't know him personally, but there weren't many black lawyers in the country who hadn't heard of the first black president of the Harvard Law Review in its then 104-year history. He also had received some local attention as a successful community organizer.